Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be exploring a part of the map that you probably didn't even know existed. We're going to be checking out a secret cave hidden underneath Mount Shann, which is something that I didn't know existed either until I saw this post on the Red Dead Redemption mystery subreddit. It was a post by user WarTiger32 who actually found this cave and decided to share some photos, and it's pretty creepy and pretty scary. Let's just say that. So in case you guys are wondering where this cave is, essentially you just have to follow one of these like dotted line paths right underneath Mount Shann. So if we actually pull up the map right now, you guys can see this is where we're located. Like literally go to where it says Mount Shann on the map, and it's to the west of Hawkeye Creek. So you can see that's where it is. And it's literally like right underneath this mountain. You can see it's pretty dark, pretty terrifying. It gets super sort of narrow as we get closer on the inside. Now, what's also pretty interesting is as you go on the inside, you'll see that it does generate its own sort of map underneath. And if we take a look at that map, it sort of looks like a mushroom cloud with, again, that thin, narrow entrance. And once again, underneath the mountain, it looks like you've got this sort of like circle dome area over there. So let's go ahead and check this out because there's actually a mystery that we have to solve here, which is really cool. So upon entering the cave for the first time, you'll obviously notice how dark it is. There's bats flying around, which is really, really creepy. The first thing I noticed is that there was a ton of broken bottles and cans and, wood and trash. So it definitely looks as if some humans have been here, because certainly animals wouldn't do stuff like this. So again, that's the first thing I saw right there. There was also this box of Kentucky bourbon. I'm not sure if that gives away any details, but again, I think it confirms that humans have indeed been here. And then things started to take sort of a twist. I saw this blood patch on the ground, and it looks like remnants of a human. So you can see that there's a human skull with a very tiny, what looks like hatchet or axe. Then there's a pickaxe and a shovel. And you can see some other pieces of human remains too. You can see what looks to be like a leg bone, maybe some parts of the rib cage, and that just doesn't look good. In fact, upon further inspection, that might not be an axe. That might be that dude's shoulder blade. So yeah, you can tell that something creepy has gone on here, but at a first instance, we don't really know what. So I think it's time to dive further into this cave to see what's going on. If we go to the right, the first thing I noticed was this giant animal skeleton. I don't know what sort of animal this is. Maybe you guys can help me figure out in the comments down below. But it looked pretty massive and pretty lethal. Let's just say that. Now, if we actually backtrack and check out the other side of the cave, you'll notice that there's a lot of other creepy stuff going on here as well. I ended up finding some more bones, and these look to be a little bit smaller, but still looked like they could have been a bigger animal nonetheless. And then after that, I noticed something pretty creepy. Up against this rock was a human skull, and then it was like a purse or a satchel. And there was a pickaxe that was leaning up against the rock too. Now, I didn't have any option to loot the satchel, but it looks like this confirms once again that humans were definitely here. So pretty crazy stuff right there. Again, I wonder what that satchel has to do with our overall finding here. But you can see the human skull, the satchel. It looks like there's like some pillows or something as well. So what I'm thinking so far is that maybe someone was trying to hide out here, and they ultimately either got lost or stuck. Now, if we proceed down the cave a little bit further, we're actually going to find some more items in here, which is pretty creepy. So you'll start to find more glass and bottles and cans. It looks like whoever was here was, eating and drinking for a long time. So it almost makes you wonder if they were trapped in here for a good bit of time. There's also some wooden boxes and some crates as well. And then I started to notice blood marks on the ground. A lot of blood marks, and they sort of led to this one central spot over here. And what I also noticed next terrified me. A giant bloody handprint on the wall. That is not the size of a human handprint. It might be kind of hard to tell just because of the depth perception of, how big is Arthur's hand versus how big is that one on the wall. But I can tell you that is the hand of like a literal giant. Like someone that is certainly not human. So that is very creepy right there. And the fact that their blood print was on the wall. That's pretty creepy right there. Now, this might just be the lighting, but every time I like waved the lantern back and forth, the blood print would actually turn sort of like white. So I'm imagining that just has to do with the light that ultimately occurs, but there's a ton of blood on the ground. There's also like a hat in pristine condition, which again, to me indicates that humans have been here, have been living here. There's also cooking pots, pans, utensils, stuff like that. And it just looks like a really creepy crime scene. That's all I've got to say. So something definitely terrifying happened right here. We know that there's a lot of blood, there's human remains and bones, there's some animal bones too, but we don't know what exactly is going on. That giant handprint on the wall so far is the creepiest thing we've seen. Now on the ground too, you're also going to find way more human remains, bones, skulls, stuff like that. So something pretty serious happened right here. But I noticed that the blood trails were leading sort of away from this campground. So I wanted to see what was potentially going on here. And what's interesting is the blood ended up leading to another larger skeleton. Although I'm not exactly too sure what this was supposed to be. So again, pretty creepy stuff right there. And if we keep moving on further, I saw something that was terrifying. So it is this giant skull of a creature. Now, this is where I'm going to need your guys' help in the comments down below. I am not an archaeologist. I am not a geologist. But that skull looks massive. It looks bigger than a bear. It looks bigger than a cougar, a panther. It literally looks like something from out of this world. It honestly looks like a dinosaur. Like, look how big the teeth are. Look how big the jaw is. So that is pretty crazy. That is a massive skull right there. And that's not the only other thing there. If we turn around, you can actually see the remnants of like another beast or creature that seems to have been lost or stuck in this cave as well. I mean, this is just horrifying. And this one hasn't even fully decomposed yet. You can still see some of like the burnt sort of decaying skin right there, which is just very, very creepy. And if we turn our attention to the other side of the cave as well, you'll also find the same thing over there. Another pile of bones and that same sort of decaying animal, whatever the case is. Now, this entire time, you guys have noticed that I have been using my lantern. And I wanted to do a test of how dark it would get if you actually put the lantern out. And this is what happens. It is literally pitch black. Like, can you guys see anything here? Probably not. That's how dark it is. And even if you go in third person, you really can't see anything. It's not until you take the flashlight out that you can even hardly see any of the items in the cave. So I've got a couple theories as to what potentially could have happened right here. So there's a couple things we see. We see the bones and skulls of humans, which to me indicates that there were at least at some point in time settlers there. We also see the giant handprint on the wall, and we also see the other skulls of what look to be like these giant cattle or creature. So here's what I think happened. And again, this is just a theory. These campers or explorers or miners or whatever the case is, they went inside of this cave, but then they actually ran across sort of like an alien versus predator situation where there was a big giant living in the cave, but there was also the like rabid big animals as well. And what I think happened is it turned into this giant like alien versus predator war. The human versus the giant versus the animals that were already inside. So honestly, that right there is my best theory because it definitely looked like something went down given the amount of human supplies, drinks and stuff that were there. It seems as if obviously none of them remain. They all are either dead or have completely left this cave. Now, I don't know if this is connected in any way, shape, or form, but after I was done exploring inside of the cave, I actually went on top of the cave mountain and I found something very interesting. It's like a sundial or like an ancient time-telling device. And I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean or symbolize. It simply might just be an Easter egg that Rockstar has thrown into the game. But on each of like the little exterior rocks, there's an arrow with a different color. So again, I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure who would have put this sundial on top of the mountain, if they are connected to what has occurred inside the secret cave in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. But I did find that to be pretty interesting, and I didn't want to exclude it from this video. Now, another thing I found interesting, and this might have just been ambient noise, but as I was exploring the cave, I heard something pretty terrifying. Take a listen to this. So again, I'm not sure if that's connected in any way, shape, or form, but it just added to the creepiness that was going on inside of this secret cave of Mount Shann. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Have you explored this cave in Red Dead Redemption 2? And if you have, let me know what you think about my theory. Do you think it's plausible, or do you think something completely and totally different happened in here regarding the giant and the humans and everything else that's inside? So like I said, let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.